Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are testing this 14-inch HP laptop as stock as requested. So this CPU is a Ryzen 3 3300U. It has VEGA 6 graphics with 512 megabytes of dedicated GPU memory. It doesn't have fast read and write speeds for the hard drive since it's a 5400 RPM hard drive. It has a capacity of 932 gigabytes. RAM is 4 gigabytes at 2400 megahertz. So here are the settings of Minecraft Windows 10 edition that we're going to be using. So a lot of the stuff is on, like the fancy leaves and stuff. And going over our settings, you're looking at CPU out of 2.10 gigahertz. VRAM is out of 0.5 gigabytes. RAM is out of 3.4 gigabytes. And here's the FPS. So somebody did mention in the comments that for Windows 10 edition of Minecraft, it's capped at 60 FPS. So I think that's true based on my test. So for this laptop, the resolution is 1366 by 768 max. So that's what's going to be our test for the entire time. Anti-aliasing is 4 and render distance chunks is 8. So we're starting off with the lowest setting. So you can see that RAM usage was already at 92%, 93%. 3.2 out of 3.4 gigabytes. CPU is actually pretty good, 17 to 20%. So for the second test, I did render distance chunks of 24. Same settings. You're going to see on the right side of the screen, CPU usage was like 90, 97%. VRAM was 67% and RAM at 90%. FPS dropped down to 33, 34. So we're also going to do some side by side, but if you notice for the first test, render distance chunks at 8, we were hitting 60 FPS consistently. And having the setting of 24 chunks, which is kind of like the medium, you can see it go 60 FPS, but it also drops down to 30. It's pretty interesting, but people did want to make me test this laptop as stock, and you might notice some stutters here and there when using it at render distance chunks of 24. I do recommend trying to tone down the settings, like turning off fancy clouds and stuff if you can. For this test, though, you saw that I did leave it on. It's pretty interesting stuff. And like I said, people wanted me to test this as stock. I didn't have much choice in terms of the games. So I did try Rocket League, and guess what happened? Rocket League wouldn't even run on this computer. Like, I would wait like 20 minutes for it to even open up. So it's pretty much a budget laptop that we haven't upgraded yet. I mean, I've been dying to upgrade it, but I know people want me to test laptops as stock. So here it is. So for the third test, before we go to the side-by-side, I did the 44 chunks, which is the max that I could find. So here, there's definitely going to be a lot of stutters, lags, FPS drops. At first, it was holding at 50 to 60 FPS, and you're going to notice it suddenly dropping. And then RAM was pretty much at 97, 98%. So VRAM 66%, GPU 68%, CPU actually did between 75 to like 90 something percent. So I think if you play long, this thing would probably crash. I'm going to add some, there you saw that major stutter right there. So there's definitely a bunch of major stuttering and stuff going on when you play it at 44 chunks. Definitely play around with the settings, but like I said, I'm very limited in terms of what games I can play on this laptop. Like I said earlier, could not even run Rocket League. I think we're definitely going to have to do upgrades, but I know a lot of people wanted me to test laptops as stock. And so what's interesting though, even though it rendered distance chunks of 44, it did hit 60 FPS some of the time. So you're looking at like 30 to 60 FPS, but it also dropped down to like 5 FPS. You're gonna see later when I do show you some split screen footage. So I'm comparing the 8 chunks versus 44 chunks. RAM usage, a little bit of an increase in the 44 chunks, but FPS is where the major difference is. 32. You see, I'm not even doing anything, and my FPS is 32 for the 44 chunks. And playing it with 8 chunks, it was pretty much at 60 FPS most of the time. So, like I said, personally, I probably would have played with 8 chunks, but that is just me. But if you guys know, I don't like pushing my computers too much, especially budget laptops. So now for the 24 chunks versus the 44 chunks, you can definitely see less RAM usage with the 24 chunks. And FPS was 60, but if you look on the right side, FPS is 3 for 44 chunks. There's been a lot of times where the FPS just drop to like 3, and then you get a lot of lag. For 24 chunks too, you get stutters from time to time. So overall though, I'm actually surprised Minecraft actually worked on this laptop. Next, I'm probably going to try Roblox on this laptop as stock. And then, like I said, Rocket League didn't work. So after testing Roblox, a few of the Roblox games, I will be upgrading this laptop. And then from there, we're going to do more tests. Because it was kind of frustrating. Even installing Minecraft did take a while just to kind of get it going. Installing Rocket League even took a while. And oh yeah, you see the 44 chunks right there? There were a lot of stuttering right there going on. A lot of lag. So not an enjoyable experience. I mean, you're playing at 3 FPS. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I do hope this helps you out. Thank you everybody for watching. Take it easy.